I threw you totally off your groove by beating you here, didn't I?
I know. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Okay.
We're starting today
Oh, you're right.
as per your delinquency.
As per my delinquency.
Alright.
My delinquent ass has to start.
Yes, it does.
And with that, hello.
Hello. Are we
Yep.
on?
You're good to go.
Hi.
Start again.
Okay. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to Truth Fairies.
We're back.
We are back. I'm Brooke.
I'm Jamie.
I'm frazzled.
I'm better than ever.
Yes.
For once in the year, I have beat Brooke to the studio. I'm first.
I thought you would be in this chair. I fully walked in expecting you to be in the chair.
No.
Because it was a who gets here first gets the chair situation. But
that chair.
yeah.
So hi, how are you?
Hi, well, if I were a dessert, I'd be a frazzle pop.
Well, that is
Don't even think that's a thing.
can't be terrible.
I had 4 things scheduled at 4 o'clock today.
Oh,
Like, what? I'm one person.
you are. So what did you do?
Well, I switched my daughter's school, so she doesn't ride the bus home anymore, and that has thrown a whole, you know when you feel like if you add one more thing to my plate, I'm gonna drown?
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like that. Just picking her up from school at the end of the day has somehow,
Yes. Can you hear that ringing?
yeah.
Travis, do you hear ringing?
Yeah, it doesn't really come through on the
Okay.
recording too bad, but it's from the furnace in the hallway.
That is so weird. It's like
I
a
think
ding
it's
ding
in
in
my
our.
skull.
Yeah, it
Okay.
vibrates through the whole building in your skull. It's insane.
Okay,
gosh, okay.
Sorry for the interruption. Okay, we're back.
Anyway,
So I have to say, there was one time when Lainey was in kindergarten, and I took that year off of teaching, and I was just home with her.
yeah.
And having to pick a child up from school at the end, like it takes your whole day. It takes the whole day.
It's the weirdest thing.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Like,
And you know how you kind of schedule things a couple weeks in advance,
Mhm.
like appointments and this kind of stuff, and just you don't think about how if you have to pick a kid up, it like you have to rearrange everything.
yeah.
So I picked her up early, and I feel like, why did the school shame you if you have to pick your kids up early?
They hate when you do
Why
that.
do they hate it so bad?
I don't know.
So I got in trouble, and then I recruited Aaron. Well, he's the dad, so it's not like
Right.
above and beyond, but he did one of my things. I took Deacon to tennis early, and then I got here late.
Wow. Well, all in a day's work, right?
So I have to pick him up on the way back.
Okay.
So
Well,
I'm just gonna breathe here for a minute and just
serenity now.
Okay.
Well, today on the podcast, we are talking about how normal are we, right?
Yeah.
Am I normal? Are you normal? Are the
What-
things that we do
What
normal?
is normal?
Is normal even a thing?
Right. I was gonna Google that. Like how to tell if you're normal and just see what came up.
I think it is subjective.
Because it's so subjective.
Normal to me is very different than normal to most people,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Or depending on where you live, from country to country, or from even like place to place,
Yeah.
there's normal is
Cultures and where you fall in your family and how you grew up and if you're married or single.
So my sister called me last night, and she said that when she listens to the podcast and the things that I say on the podcast, she's like, it's like she's inside of my brain and knows exactly what I'm going to say.
Really?
Yeah, and she said it's so weird that we're the only 2 people on the planet that have these shared memories.
Such shared experiences.
Yeah, because there was just the 2 of us being raised together, and everything was shared.
And everyone you knew grew up pretty much she knew growing up, and
Yeah, so she's like, it's like we are this, like, our own little bank of memories.
right. Like how often is it that you learn something new about Robin?
Never.
Right?
Never.
Yeah. I learned something new about Heather the other day.
What was that?
It's that when she sees a spider or thinks about spiders, she gets chills on one side of her body.
On one side.
Yeah.
That's weird.
I was like, how? I did not know that about you.
That is weird.
Is that normal?
That is not normal. Let me tell you something that happened to me last night that I am pretty sure is not normal.
Okay.
You know how I'm always cold?
Yes.
Always cold. And it doesn't matter what month, what temperature, I'm always cold.
Yep.
Well, I got up and I went in the bathroom, and I was looking in my, the mirror that blows things up bigger, the
Ooh.
magnifying mirror.
Ugh.
And I was so cold. I had goosebumps on my neck.
Really?
Have you ever had a goosebump on your neck?
No, I don't. Not from. No.
Yeah, I was so cold. Like my whole neck was goose pimpled.
Ooh,
Isn't that
weird. I don't like that you looked in a magnification mirror.
Well, I did.
That makes me. Ugh.
Maybe I always have goosebumps
Maybe.
on my neck.
You know what the worst is? So I have terrible vision, but I don't wear glasses. I don't know why. And so I always do my makeup, and then sometimes when I put on my glasses and I look in the mirror, I'm like, oh,
Who is this
ah,
freak?
it's like I can. That's what people see when they look at me. It's like I have a permanent Snapchat filter on my face all the time.
Because it's all fogged.
Yeah. Have you seen that trend on TikTok or Reels where people are showing like what people look like with filters? And there's like a no filter that like makeup artists and like skincare salespeople are like doing their reels with. And then they take it off. Other people do and say, that's not really what they look like. We should do it.
Oh, we should. Or should we?
Lies of despair.
Yes. All right, well, let's look at some other things that
Okay.
are, we're just gonna, I have just a bunch of short little things that are, why can't I talk today? Short little snippets of things that people do or habits or quirks that they have, and then
And we'll weigh
we'll
in.
decide if they're weird or not
Okay.
weird, or
Okay.
normal or not normal.
Okay.
So I'll go first.
Okay.
It says, I close the toilet seat when flushing because it sprays germs everywhere. Okay, which I think is
It's
normal.
probably legit.
But then it says, then I wash the toilet seat and floor after I flush.
Oh, every time?
Every time.
That's a lot.
That is a little OCD.
The toilet seat on the inner one that you sit on, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
If you've shut the toilet, nothing's getting, I mean, not like it's a vacuum sealed thing,
Right.
but it's like one or the other.
Yeah, I just feel like that's extreme.
Yeah.
I'm going to say not normal. I mean, unless you are literally like shit festing in that toilet and there are things flying
Yeah.
out.
I feel lucky that we have a loo, like a one, like a,
A loo?
is that what they call it when you can shut the door to it?
Oh, like a private room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my toilet room doesn't like, it shuts off from the rest of my bathroom.
Yes.
And I always feel like that protects my toothbrush and my
Right.
face products and all that.
Yeah, mine has a little, like its own little private, it doesn't have a door, but you go around the little corner.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, because otherwise you are brushing your teeth with a shit stick.
I know.
And nobody worries about this.
No.
I mean, apparently, other than this person.
Yeah. And I feel like everyone has probably one OCD thing that they do.
Yeah.
And you know what I kind of hate?
What?
When everyone self-diagnoses themselves with OCD.
I know, just because you have weird things that are quirky or like habitual doesn't
Right.
mean you have OCD. Like, let's not self-diagnose. Let's not WebMD everything.
And let's not like downplay people that actually have diagnosed obsessive compulsive
Right.
disorder, because that's an actual mental illness. And to be like, oh, I have to do this every time. I'm so OCD. It's
Yeah.
like, no, you're not.
No, you're not. I have to tell you, speaking of self-diagnosis.
Okay.
Okay, so the other morning, my daughter, Lainey, who is 10,
Uh-huh.
wakes up, and it was the most random thing. She had this little tiny bruise that was like, it looked like the size of like a Q-tip,
Yeah.
the tip of it, right underneath her, like right in the crease of her chin. Just this
Weird.
little purple bruise. And she's like, we were like, wow, that's so weird. Where'd you get that bruise? And she didn't know. So I'm at work and she sends me this text, and it's a screenshot. And it says, what would cause bruises to appear without injury?
Uh-huh.
And then it has like a response, and she's like circled it in marker that
Oh,
says bleeding disorder.
Oh, jeez. Now
I'm
she's
like,
convinced.
it's a bruise. You're 10. Like, things happen.
And plus, you do cartwheels and flips and handstands every 5 seconds.
Or not. You don't have a bleeding disorder. You know what I mean?
Yes.
She's 10 years old, and now she is already Google searching all of her illnesses.
Oh, jeez.
Not.
That's
like,
the
not a
last thing
healthy
you want
place.
to do.
I'm like, would you get off of that? It's not a bleeding disorder.
They need like a WebMD for like hypochondriacs.
Yeah, that just says, slow down, sister. It's a bruise. You're fine.
You're fine.
It's not a tumor.
Give it a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have
Okay.
got that. Okay, so my first one is a person that says, I'm obsessed with sandwiches. It'd be a weird day if I didn't have at least one. Usually either ham or turkey, but I'll make a sandwich out of anything meat-based we have laying around, even weird shit like carne asada or meatloaf.
Oh, meatloaf.
Meatloaf sandwich. So that just made me think about people like me who are a habitual eater, who kind of have to eat the same thing every day. Do you do that to any degree?
Like coffee in the morning.
Yeah.
No.
I went through probably a 7-year phase where I had wheat thins and string cheese for lunch every single day. Every single day.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, other than just like coffee in the morning.
What do you eat lunch at work, at
Yeah,
school? What do you take stuff? Do you get stuff out of the cafeteria?
No, I take stuff, but it's like leftovers.
Just whatever.
Or, yeah, and every Thursday we do Taco Thursday and order out.
Taco Thursday?
I know, because Tuesdays it doesn't work out.
So
it's Taco Thursday.
That's funny.
Yeah, but I don't, like, I'll crave things and go for a period of time where I eat a lot of one thing or another, but not like a daily.
Huh. Yeah. I wonder how normal that is. Because
Yeah.
I'll usually, I mean, I have a protein drink, and that's my first meal, which I usually don't eat till like noon.
Mhm.
And then, now that I don't eat lunch really, because I just eat that, and then I'll snack midday, and then I'll have dinner.
Mhm.
But when I was eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it was wheat thins and string cheese every day.
I'd be so bored of that.
I know, but it's like I don't want to think about what to eat. Like the idea that I have to think about it every day, I'm like,
That's stupid.
ugh.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, how about this? Counting the number of stairs in a staircase that I'm on. Are you a counter?
I'm not, but I know a lot of people are.
If I'm alone, I'll do it. Like if I'm by myself and just like nothing to occupy my mind, then I'm absolutely gonna count it.
Out loud or in your brain?
In my brain.
Okay.
But if I'm talking to somebody, I'm not like where I would have to stop a conversation so that I could mentally count the steps.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't tell you how many steps are even on my staircase in my house.
Wow.
I just don't.
And if I'm ever walking by myself, like if I go for a walk, I'm always counting.
Really?
If I'm by myself. If we're walking together, I'm not paying attention. But if I'm walking, I'm counting.
Just to give your brain something to do?
It's just where I go.
I had a buddy growing up who was he was a big skateboarder, so they would like skate downstairs all the time. But he could like count the number. He could guess on how many stairs were on a staircase by like looking at it from like a distance.
Wow.
So like the stairs at our school would be like, oh, that's like 24 stairs, and then you'd count them all, and then you'd be like, how did you know that's exactly 24? And then just something in his, he's looked at and counted enough stairs that he can like guess pretty accurately.
Oh, because he's habitually counted so many times.
Yeah,
he now knows what that looks
well,
like.
because he knows like if I skateboard, I can skateboard down like a 10 stair would be like the biggest I could go down probably. So he's always looking for that to see if he could like possibly jump down it or not break his legs or whatever. But yeah, he can like spot stair numbers from a distance.
Interesting. I have 2 steps that go from my main living area into our mudroom that goes into our garage. And every time I walk down them, I think I'm going to fall. Like, I think this is going to kill me someday. It's like, I just feel like I'm always on the edge of falling down those stairs. And I don't know why. It's 2 stairs.
2 stairs.
But I'm always like, whoa. Like,
where do these come from?
Wow. I'm just like, I can't live here when I'm old. I'm going to break a hip on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know why. It freaked me out.
Yeah. Okay. I love this one. When I watch a movie or TV, I have this urge to repeat what the people on screen are saying.
Okay.
Okay. So they say, a lot of time I make the vocal motions of their words and cadence, but do so without opening my mouth or letting air through. So it's like my vocal cords are actually repeating them, but I am not audibly saying anything.
How do you?
So it's like their mouth is closed, but they're articulating
like
it
their
inside.
vocal cords are doing it.
Like they're, like the man in your mouth.
Yes.
You know the man.
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay. What should I say?
Jenny, you're so cute, Jenny. Thank you. See, we can both do that. Yes, I can.
Okay.
That's the man in our mouth.
That is the man in our mouth. For you video viewers on our Patreon, you will see it.
Looking.
Our mouths.
Like idiots.
We're closed.
Our mouths were closed.
Mhm.
We were almost like ventriloquists.
Yeah.
Ventriloquy.
And you have to do it in the very back of your throat.
Okay. So, anyway, I guess she uses the man in her mouth, but it doesn't make a sound. I don't think she puffs up her lips either. She just.
I don't know how you would do that.
I don't know. Anyway, that's what they do.
I don't think I could do that.
You know how some people are lip followers though? Like if you're talking, they're like going. moving their mouths.
Yes.
I hate that.
Have I told you about the girl I used to be friends with? I might have mentioned it on this podcast, who would finish your sentences.
Yes, and you quit being friends with her.
Well,
I think we have talked about her.
I think we have too.
Yeah.
It was like she was constantly trying to predict what you were saying, and I couldn't handle it. But I would ask other people, have you noticed? And they're like, I haven't really noticed. And I'm like,
how do you not notice?
I can't even have a conversation with her. So I have a similar one who, I don't know if I can go through my whole papers to find it, but she says that she laughs every time she's asked a question. So
like a nervous laugh?
So she says it's not a nervous, like she doesn't feel nervous, but okay, yeah. So she said it mostly happens when I lie, but it happens when I tell the truth as well. I've Googled it and it said something about being uncomfortable, but it's not that. Someone asked me what my favorite food is, and I just couldn't contain my laughter after answering. Now they think I'm lying. It's a pain in the ass, really. So
or
it's
they
like,
think she's psycho.
yeah.
Right?
So she just like answers a question and just laughs.
That's awkward.
And I, when I was a news reporter one time, interviewed a woman who giggled for our entire conversation. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. Like, we were having a normal conversation about a historic theater that was getting renovated.
Mm-hmm.
She'd be like, these are the seats from 1957. I was like, what is happening?
And then don't you start feeling self-conscious because you're like, why is she laughing at me? What is so funny? What is there a booger in my nose?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I would hate that.
Yesterday, remember how I told you how I took my daughter 2 weeks early for her driving test?
Uh-huh.
So we show up again, and my daughter kind of has an unusual name, Brighton.
Mhm.
So I'm thinking, we're showing up a week and a half later, he's going to be like, you're back again.
Mhm.
And so I'm like prepared to tell our story. He walks up, hi, I'm so-and-so, nice to meet you. And for some reason, I thought it was so funny that he didn't recognize us. I couldn't stop laughing in the back seat. Couldn't stop laughing.
So you went on her driver's test with her?
Yeah.
Oh, how funny.
Yeah. And she did so good the second time.
So
She knew
she's got a
exactly what he
license.
was looking for.
Good.
Yeah.
And he didn't even know her.
No,
That's so weird.
did not even recognize either one of us.
He probably is so mentally scarred
Oh,
from
yeah.
having to do driver's ed that every moment is just survival.
Yeah. That was the other thing I had scheduled today. She's doing her written test right now.
Yay.
So,
okay.
That is going to make my life so much easier.
Preach.
Okay.
Okay, this one says, I have a weird compulsion with my fingers and toes. I just get this feeling and have to put pressure on them so the urge goes away. It gets worse when I'm anxious.
Oh,
So it happens even when this person is not anxious. Is
Mhm.
that normal?
I don't know. Piper has it though.
Does
She has to cross her toes.
Oh, yeah.
She constantly like flicks her toes.
Huh.
And she's like, she has to wear shoes that are loose or too big so that she can flick her toes.
So she has room. Do you remember back in the fen days?
Oh, fen.
When everybody was on fen or phentermine or whatever.
Yep.
So I did a stint with phentermine, and it used to, I think we've talked about this, it used to make my nail beds agitated,
Yes.
which does not make any sense. I mean, other than when you're hopped up on like
Meth.
legalized
Basically.
crack.
Uh-huh.
But it was like my nail beds were so agitated, I'd have to like touch them and put
Uh-huh.
pressure on them, and it would drive me absolutely nuts.
I want to hear from one teenager of the 90s who was not overweight that wasn't on fen. How were we all in the 90s on crack and
All of
nobody
us.
cared?
And nobody needed it.
Nope. I
Like,
weighed like
nobody
120 probably, and I'm on diet pills.
Yeah.
And so many of my friends were.
I even
And it's like
remember-
our moms knew,
yeah.
and like our teacher, like it was just like everybody take meth, it's fine.
Yeah, you're gonna look great when this is done. But I remember even after having my babies, and in my earlier years of giving birth, I was small after.
Yeah.
Like I think after I had Carly, I weighed 108 pounds.
Yeah,
Like I was not
that's tiny.
a large woman.
Mm-mm.
But I remember going to the doctor and being like, well, I just am having a hard time. I'm just feeling sluggish and having a hard time losing the baby weight. It's just like, here, have some phentermine.
What?
Yeah. I mean, I was not over 120 pounds.
My gosh.
And was just, yeah.
And he gave it to you.
Yeah.
You guys,
I
what?
was a candy man.
Somebody needs to.
Somebody stop.
Yeah.
But I remember I had to, I mean, I never was on it for very long, just like,
Because it
A
makes
moment or
you
two.
crazy.
yeah, but I would have to go like every other day or every third.
Mhm.
Otherwise, if I did 2 days in a row, my nail beds were bugging
Oh
me.
my gosh. I remember, I don't think I took it in high school, but I took it after college. Still was super skinny.
Right.
And I was a news reporter, and I would take it. And I was like, I could talk to anybody, I could interview anybody, I had the best stories. And then I'd come home from work and just rage. Like, it was, I mean, it's like meth.
It is. It's so bad for you.
And I didn't even have a doctor prescription. Mine was like from Mexico.
Good job, Brooke.
It was on Mexico Phentermine as a 23-year-old.
Well, I do, I do remember taking it, and literally it was like you could feel the moment that it kicked in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would be doing something, and all of a sudden it was like, there it is.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden everything was happier.
And you feel like you can do anything.
Yeah, like you can get through whatever. It just was.
I don't need food.
Yeah, and sometimes I could go days
Same.
without eating anything. And it was like, oh, I haven't had water in 4 days.
Except remember how it made you so thirsty?
Yeah, you did get thirsty, but it was like I could not eat a meal.
No.
So the bottom line is this is very dangerous.
Don't go on diet pills, you guys.
You do not need diet pills.
And now everyone's hearts are destroyed.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah. So thank you, Phentermine.
Yeah.
So just love yourself. It's overrated.
Please.
Okay.
Okay. This is kind of a relationship isn't normal. So this person says, I have a crush on this person, they, them, that I've known for a few years. I don't have the guts to say I like them yet, but that's a different story. We always argue about small things, like which thing is better, or if something should be a different way or not. But we always move past it immediately and laugh about it. We've both said that we love fighting like this with each other. It sucks fighting with other people, but this just feels different. It feels right. And they like to choose the opposite side of my choice, even if they think I'm right, just so we can argue about it. And I like when they do this too. Is this in any way normal?
No, not as, I don't think. Do you think? Like,
Yeah.
do you think it's normal?
Uh-huh.
As a day-to-day, like, I just love to fight with this person.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm not saying that there aren't times when I'm looking for a fight,
Yeah.
right? I mean, like I'll have that day where I am ready to fight, and you know, Jake walks in, and I just
Look at me sideways.
Yeah,
I dare you.
say something and I'm against it. Like,
Yeah.
I will contradict everything.
Yeah.
But it's not very often
Do you think that's unhealthy?
to want to fight.
Well, I think it's one of those things where they just have that dynamic, like it's a playful fighting.
Yeah.
And they have this dynamic where if maybe the other person has a crush too, so it's kind of like this is our way of like interacting, and it's like my best way to interact with you and like keep the conversation going to be like
this is our thing.
This is our thing.
Okay, outside of a relationship, yes.
Yeah.
I think if they were like official, like if they had decided they were like each other, then it would be problematic.
It would probably escalate to real fights because then you really
annoying.
have real things to fight about.
Right, and when the honeymoon's over,
Yeah.
shit gets real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you've already got that dynamic in your relationship, then
that could escalate.
it could escalate pretty quick.
Yeah. So maybe normal, but
maybe just keep
maybe
it a
red
crush.
flag.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Okay, this one says, and I think this is so related to like modern day and social media and technology. It says, when I'm doing something, anything, I act like I'm giving a tutorial for it. Like, hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to take a shower or make an omelet.
Yep.
Right? So, which I think, we may have actually even talked about this
I feel
on
like
here
we did.
before. But like, I even will catch like Lainey.
Mm-hmm.
I'll walk in her room and she's like talking, like she's doing a tutorial of something.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's just, our kids live in tutorials, right? They live in, everybody's filming everything they do.
Right.
And making a lot of damn money on it as I sit here and think about it.
I know. Yeah, I feel like that's how kids these days relate to the world.
Yeah, through a tutorial.
Yeah, like today Piper said, every grandma has gum in their purse and it's always spearmint. And I said, what are you talking
You don't even know
about?
what spearmint is.
Yeah, she goes, that's what TikTokers say.
Well,
I'm like,
they're not wrong. Right?
I was like, so then just to prove a point, I'm like, how would a TikToker know what every single grandma has? They're like, well, why would 10 TikTokers say it if it wasn't true? I'm like, everything you hear on TikTok is not true. But it's like, it's that thing of every grandma does this and every mom says this.
The generalizations.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a hard world to live in.
Yeah.
This technology, this newfangled technology.
What was the newfangled one?
Okay, me or you? You.
Me. Okay, well, this one's kind of similar, so I'll read it. She says, I see things as though they were a book. So she says, I'm not sure when it started, but for a long time I've thought of my life like it was a book, and the people around me, including myself, as characters. Don't get me wrong, I know this is real life, but for example, when I was asked whether I wanted to travel to see my dying grandmother or stay with my mother, in my head I said to myself, this is an important character moment. I was stressed and upset, I was crying, but still telling myself this was a character moment, that this would define me. I find myself thinking whenever something goes right, that something else must go horribly wrong, because otherwise the story wouldn't be interesting. I thought other people saw the world this way too, but I can't seem to find anyone else online. So am I normal? Is there something wrong with me for thinking this way?
I think that's weird, but I don't think it's that abnormal.
Yeah.
I was reading something else, and a person was talking about how they constantly view everything that they do, like they imagine how people would react to them doing things. So it's almost kind of that same thing, like as if this was like the book of my life, how would people react to it? So
Right.
I think we do a lot of sort of like role playing, like an internal monologue and role playing in our minds.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but that's very specific.
It's specific that it's a book. Because a lot of times, like, my kids will say, like, oh, I'm so the main character, or like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm the main character and this and this. Not that they think that they're like more important, but it's like, technically in your life you
are the main character.
Are the main character, which is weird, but I don't think of it as a book necessarily.
Do you ever think about things and how do I even say this without sounding like a total jackass? But like, do you ever have a hard time viewing the world from somebody else's perspective? Like,
oh, yeah.
Like you think everything in this world revolves around me,
Mm-hmm.
but even though you know it doesn't, but like it's hard for me to imagine other people just living their lives when I'm not watching.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Or
yeah, almost like Truman Show-ish.
yeah. Like Travis. He just, the minute we walk out the door, he freezes.
Like he exists in this booth and doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he doesn't leave there.
It's weird.
I don't
It's
know.
like when you're a kid and you see your teachers at the grocery store.
And you're like, why are you here? How did you leave the school?
Right.
How did you get out?
Right. That used to bother me as a kid. I'd be like, how am I so important to myself? Like it bugged me. That thought would like get to me as a kid.
That's weird.
And now I've just learned to deal with that.
Huh. Well, I'm glad. Welcome.
Thank you.
You too.
Thanks.
I know that I've read some of these before, so I want to make sure I'm not doubling up. But
Okay.
This one says, I pull out little whiskers on my face.
Oh.
This is a woman. They are few and far between, but if I feel one, I will pick at it until it comes out.
Well, what are you gonna do? Just end up with a beard?
I
Of
don't
course
know.
you're gonna tweeze them.
But do you ever get a beard hair and get obsessed?
Abs.
Like,
yes.
You run your hand across and catch a beard hair, and it is like tunnel vision.
I'm constantly scanning.
And you usually you'll get a repetitive beard hair.
Oh yeah.
Like you don't just grow a full beard. It's like, I mean, women at least. Well, most women.
Yeah.
But it's like where that beard hair is coming up, and every so often you gotta check for
Yep.
it.
I have one that comes up about right here. I've got one that comes out of my mole. Oh, I might have one right now. Remember when I had an elbow one?
You did have an inner elbow hair.
Inner elbow hair. It has not resurfaced. Yeah, but when you find it,
It's like,
I feel
that's
like
all
if
you
I
can think
don't
about.
pluck it out, more will come.
Yeah, you've got to. You could be sitting next to somebody and they could look over and say, look at that woman's beard.
Yeah. I was with a boy on a bus up to a ski hill one time, and he literally mid-conversation is like, you have a hair coming out of your chin.
This boy said this
Wanted
to you?
to die. Well, yeah.
How do you come back from
How do you
that?
move on?
How do you play that down?
It's like,
yes, thank you.
Do you want to get that?
I'm saving it for later.
It's like, I wanted to die. And I wasn't even dating him. He was one of my best friends, but it didn't matter. It was my Travis, the Travis I grew up with.
Really?
Yeah, and I just literally, he's
Called
like,
out your beard.
yeah. He also told me I'd be hot if I didn't burp and fart. So there's that too. He's like,
You held it in so long you sprouted a beard hair.
I've been looking at you, and I think you would actually be really pretty if you didn't burp and fart so much. We were probably like 13.
Gosh.
Like, well,
Stop.
you know what?
That is funny.
I will never be attractive to you then, because it's got to come out.
I was
some
thinking
way.
that you were talking temperature-wise, like you would, if you burped and farted, you
No,
would.
like I would be attractive to him. if I wasn't so openly gassy in front of him.
Okay, well, that might be fair.
1000%, but
Okay, well, but he didn't have to call you out.
I mean, wasn't trying to date him, so.
Yeah,
But then the beard hair's still the deal.
that's it.
Could never get past it. Oh no, I think that's totally normal.
Yeah.
I
love a good beard hair, I'm not gonna lie.
Satisfying getting it out.
Yeah, once you finally get those tweezers and
Uh-huh.
pull that sucker out.
You know when you accidentally do like the birthday ribbon curl? Like you pull it with your fingernails and instead of pulling it, it curls it like a curly ribbon.
Coils up so tight. Gross.
And then it's like a little pigtail coming.
I mean, no. What? That's never happened.
I don't even get beard hairs.
I am a woman through and through. Okay.
Okay, here's kind of a weird one. So this person says she lies. Actually, I don't know if this is a girl or a boy. They lie for no reason. So they say these lies don't have a goal. It's not like I want to fool someone with a clear objective. I don't even think about lying. They just happen. I can give so many examples. Like just yesterday, I was writing something down that I wanted to tell my therapist. In my text, I wrote that I was typing this on my computer when I was actually doing it on my phone. I knew it was a lie and there was no goal in lying about it, but I did it anyways. I was talking about a video game with my sister the other day, and I said that the F key was the key I had to press to get into a car, but it was actually the E key, and I lied. Sometimes I say random stuff that didn't happen. Like the other day, my mom wanted to know about my day, and for some reason I lied and said I almost stepped on dog poop while walking home, but that was a lie. It doesn't even register as lying. Like right before I say it, my brain isn't thinking about what I'm going to say.
It just comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The reaction it will have or the goal. It just happens basically on accident. I realized I've been doing this a couple of years ago and it hasn't gotten worse, but I was wondering, is this normal? Like, should I feel bad about doing it? It's never something important, but does everyone do it and just doesn't talk about it?
You shouldn't necessarily feel bad about it, but you should seek some help. Like that is like what's it called? Compulsive lying.
Compulsive
And
lying.
when there's no, like, for people to lie when the truth is better, it doesn't make any sense. Like,
Right.
That is like sociopath.
It's very
Wow,
weird.
I'm aggressive.
But it is like, there's one thing to lie to make yourself look better or to cover up something stupid you did, but just to change things. You know what it made me think of is maybe you're just bored.
Maybe you need a hobby
Yeah.
that's not